Hello and welcome to today's video. So this time I'm going to be bagging up the very last part of my vintage promotional catalogues and book order forms from various publishers, Penguin, Puffin and a few others in between. So sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay then, so I've pulled out the stuff which is basically this sort of size because these are going to go into these standard paperback bags, which are these ones here. So I use the BCW paperback bags, and I've been buying these. Well, sometimes they're available on Amazon, sometimes. Other times I've been getting them, well, more recently because Amazon keeps selling out. I've been getting them from a book dealer, Dorset Bob, and he has got the normal paperback bags, and he's now got the slightly wider ones, which are these, which are the ones which are, it says for digest size, but they're wider. So we should be absolutely fine. So I'm going to go through and just bag up the catalogues first of all. I have shown these in a lot of my unboxings before, in my like monthly pickups and what have you. So we'll bag them first of all. I'm not going to put any sort of boards in or support. I'm just going to pop them in the bags, and it will really sort of protect them, but also it sort of accentuates the display aspect of them as well, because I think they are, particularly these Puffin ones, are really, really great. And I didn't have many Puffin ones until this year. They were predominantly ones like this, the Penguin list, and I've really only started to keep a track of all my promotional stuff now. I was amazed, literally amazed at how much I actually had accumulated, you know. This one's quite nice, a little bit thin, but I have got quite the spreadsheet now. What I've done, I've just sorted every single year, and what was published that year, or what's dated for that year. I've put under it a Puffin and main series Penguin as well. But I suspect that some of this is probably quite hard to find nowadays. I know certainly the Penguin catalogues, they do turn up, you know, on the whole. Although this is one I've never seen before. This is like Penguin for schools and colleges, like 1960. So specifically for Penguin. There he is with his scholarly hat on there and gown, like he's just graduated. But I think, you know, maybe when I've got the whole lot done at last, maybe we'll go back over and try and have a look at Penguin's promotional stuff year by year. I think that might be quite fun to pull it all out. But at the moment, to be honest, it's more sorted by size rather than anything else. But at least it has all been catalogued. Now we've got some pan stuff as well to do, but there's quite a bit in this size. So I thought we'd do that first of all. Penguin English Library. Yeah, almost like a spin-off of the classics in effect, wasn't it? And that was literally a little catalogue for that one 4-book Penguin box set, rather Pelican box set, which I do actually have. Evidently they were making a big deal of it at the time. This is just a little pamphlet really for the 5 new Hemingways. They really went to town when they published those Hemingways, and it was on the cover of the Penguin Book News. They did a promotional bookmark and this little leaflet here, which I was really pleased to get. So I can't imagine there's anything else that was produced that I haven't got now, but big fan of those. Library editions, don't know many of them. You see them around now and again. I think I've got maybe 2 or 3. I certainly wouldn't like try and collect them. I think they'd be quite tough to collect because they don't turn up very often. And the ones I've seen recently, because I have seen a couple in a couple of second-hand shops, but they were quite low grade, so I sort of gave them a miss. Now this one here, I don't think this is a really early letter, so although it's in this size, ideally what I want to do is get that displayed flat. So I'm just going to there may be some stuff that we're just not going to be able to do because of the nature of what it is. It's the same. This is the same. It's a big fold-out catalogue. See, that really needs to be displayed like that way round and flat. So for now, I shall just put that to one side. There may be a few bits that I can't actually do. I am thinking about getting a load of that only just fits in, a load of tabloid bags. So what these are much bigger. So you got paperback bags, digest bags, then you'll have comic bags, then we'll go up to magazine sized bags, and then tabloid. Now I think this one is going to be too big for a paperback bag. Yeah, it's going to be too tight, so I'm going to need to grab a digest one, because this is slightly bigger, for the first 50 peregrines. This is a really substantial puffin catalogue. Look, 1972, 500 puffins for the picking. Once again, I suspect it might be, yeah, it's we need the digest size bags for these. Yeah, once these are taped up, they're going to look really gorgeous. That is for certain. Now this one's got the same dimensions. It's the 1971. Price 4p. Look at that. See, when I was in the book game in the 90s through to the very early 2000s, I worked in a high street bookstore, and then I ran my own shop for about 10 years. And we would often get promotional catalogues and things like that. Penguin were absolute experts at blowing their own trumpet, you could say. So I would always pick them up. Now, these are the Pan records. So what Pan did, they, similar to Penguin, they would do like a little promotional catalogue, as you can see, of their new titles. Very beautiful. Now, I have got, I think, yeah, so I need numbers 1 to 5, and I think it's the tail end ones that seem to be the scarcest. There was one I found recently. As far as we knew, up until very recently, we thought there was 32 in the set. But I've recently found number 37. So that's thrown that out the window. That's just a sign of how scarce they actually are, these books. These pamphlets, rather. But that actually fits in really perfectly into a paperback bag. So I'm going to leave that like that. I have had a few doubles over the years. A few, but not many. So they are still pretty scarce, you know. Is that going to go in? Well, the last one went in perfect, didn't it? That's it. Yeah, this actually, it's actually so tight, it's not going to quite fit in. The first one did, although it was snug. This one must be a little bit wider. So we'll pop it in a digest bag, just because we don't want to ruin it. Right, so here's numbers 8 and 9. Let's see if that was the norm. And that they are a little bit wider. Yeah, see this one. It was maybe just number 7, but look, number 8 fits in absolutely fine. Really nice, sort of distinctive 50s design on these, isn't it? But yeah, they don't often turn up. I mean, stuff like this is always interesting. If you collect that publisher, having like bits of related memorabilia like this, I think is great fun to collect, and I've always done it for almost everything that I've collected. So here, that was number 9. This is number 10 and number 11. Yeah, see, these are all going in okay. It was just the other odd one, wasn't it? And I suppose back in the day, I mean, you had to write into Pan to sort of subscribe to the Pan record. Although they did send it to you free, but I guess they were at least sending it out to people who were genuinely interested. So there we go, number 13 and number 12 there. It's a slight change in design now from the sort of very, very 50s design to this, the actual Pan Piper. New titles on the back as well. But yeah, I believe my friend Tim at ticket.net has got pretty much, he hasn't got the first 5, like I'm missing 1 to 5, but I believe he's got some more of the later ones than I have. Although that number 37, which I'll show you in a minute, was the first time either of us had seen that one. So evidently the tail end issues are as scarce as the very, very early ones, the first 5. Which I'm amazed I've not even seen a picture of. Yes, is that going to go in? Yeah, I've never even seen a picture of the first 5. They just don't seem to have survived anywhere. Pan themselves have got none of these. In their archive, they don't have a single issue of the Pan record. And that's so typical of the modern publishers. They just, you know, their archive, it just isn't what you might think. All right, number 14. It was in one of these that Casino Royale in Pan first gets mentioned. Is in one of these. With a little picture. Yeah, see, that's too tight. Yeah, all of these are slightly just on the cusp of being able to fit into a regular paperback bag. That one's gone in all right. I suppose they were published, you know, they were put together in-house. Probably an editor did them in their spare time. See that one? Well, maybe it's very, very borderline. Yeah, it's just gone in. But yeah, if you ever see any of these, the going rate on them really is about £25 each, if you can believe it. I think that's really what they're worth nowadays, particularly if they're in nice condition. It's funny, but when they turn up, they don't tend to turn up in bad condition, ironically. When they turn up, they've generally been looked after. They've been in with a pile of books or inside a magazine, something like that. So generally speaking, they turn up all right. But that isn't always the case, of course, but just something to look for. Right, I'm out of paperback bag. I've got another packet here, so we'll get some out on standby. Number 18. Yeah, some of them, they just seem, they're like a millimetre out. Yeah, that's literally just gone in. Look at that. Change of design again for number 19 here. May 56. The Dancing Prancing Pan. Is that going to go in? Once again, it looks pretty on the borderline, that. You may be looking at a tabloid, a digest rather, and yeah, we are. There we go. Here he is again, number 20. Picture of Pan HQ there on the back. Pan's new dispatch centre. Very cool. Look at all those pans there, lined up, ready to be sent off to the shops. That's what makes these special. It's stuff like that, you know, it really is. I can almost feel that this is too wide to go in a regular paperback bag. So I'm not even going to try. So number 20. 21. It's about the same sort of size. Joan Collins there. Sea Wife, the movie she was in. Again, yeah, see that just slips in, that one. Pan there, relaxing. 22, the 10th birthday number. So they're celebrating 10 years of Pan. Pan is 10 years old. You can see why these are so much fun to collect when you get them, but it's not something you're ever going to put together in a hurry. They're just not out there like that. 23. Live and Let Die on the back there. Very good. And you just can't underestimate the impact Pan had on the book and paperback market in the 1950s. They really did. And still great fun to collect today. 24, there he is in bed, having an evening read. You're going to squeeze in. Yeah. Okay, that's 24. This is 25, and this is smaller format, as you can see. And after this, I think all of them after 25 are scarce. They just seem to have got a lot harder to find. Those ones that we just saw there, you could say, you know, the ones from number 6 to 20, they've turned up. You know, we've had some doubles of those. But after that one, definitely harder to get. This is one I picked up fairly recently, which is number 31. So I only picked this one up this year. And I knew that there was one more after this, which was number 32. And that turned up inside a magazine, if you can believe it, inside a book. So that wasn't advertised. I was just pure blind luck that I was able to pick 31 up. And then I got this one most recently. And this is the one that sort of foxed us, because number 37, January 63. So what's happened from, we haven't seen 33 to 37 before. And this one turns up with Hitchcock on. So evidently the Pan record carried on. But I mean, the fact that we haven't even seen them it just means that they must be incredibly rare. It just must be. And couldn't have been produced in decent numbers. I think that's the simple truth of it. Anyway, that's all my sort of paperback size stuff, so I need to seal that up now. And now that they're all bagged up, I thought we could go back and have one last look through them, because they are rather lovely. You can see the difference that the bags make on them. They really do, as well as obviously protecting them. They do make them look lovely. But this is only the first bit of what we've got to do today. We've got quite a bit more left. Onto the Pan records now. Quite a nice little record of what I've actually got as well. So obviously, if you've got any Pan records in your collection that you're not fussed about, that I haven't got, I'd be very interested. I'll happily pay upwards of £25 an issue if it's one that I haven't got, because that's what I believe that they should be worth. There we are. Right, let's crack on with the next bit. Okay then, so soldiering on, I found a few more bits and pieces overnight. So I've had a little break in filming. I remember when this one came out, because this was the re-release of the first Pan Book of Horror Stories, and it was brought out for a more modern audience. When was this then? 2010, amazingly, 14 years ago. Yeah, Johnny Mains did the forward. Horror editor. So I think that deserves a little bag on its own. Now, this one I only picked up fairly recently. It's an absolutely gorgeous little concertina catalogue for the 25th anniversary of Penguin. I really, really like this one. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, that is gorgeous. But once again, I think the best way is probably just going to be to have it in a bag like that. Although, what I have got with me is a folder, which I'm going to have a look at in a minute, which has got all my sort of bookmarks and stuff in. I think because that sort of comes under the realm of catalogues, I'll keep it under catalogues. This odd flyer here is actually a double, so I've already got some of those, so I'll put them to one side. Next, we're going to look at these postcards. Now, these were by the firm Duns Chew, and they did Agatha Christie ones, and they did some for Ian Fleming as well. Now, some of these look like they've been opened, and others don't. So I'm going to leave them. What I thought I might do is do them sort of back to back. So I have two postcards back to back in a bag. Is that going to fit? Yeah, look at that, just about that. So we can look at both images and they'll just be in a bag like that. I think that'll be the way to do it. Of course, it gives us another chance to have a look at these great jackets. They didn't. They chose some pretty good ones, in actual fact. Duns Chews. I think these came out quite the while back. You occasionally see them turn up online, and I think Morris Zardos might still have some from when they were first published. You know, 1, 2, Buckle My Shoe, and Hound of Death. I'm not sure if they were licensed or if they just went ahead and did them, you know. I mean, I really don't know, but there's Agatha Christie ones and there's James Bond ones. And I remember picking them all up. I think I got them all at the time. But it was quite a while back. This one here, N or M, has been signed by Pef. I got to meet Sam Peffer at one of the London paperback shows in the 90s, in the early 90s. I think it was maybe 93 or 94 or even 92. One of those ones it was, and Pef was there, so I managed to get his signature on a couple of these. I got it on one of his Bond ones as well, which I was really pleased about. At the time, I didn't have anything like as many Pef books as I've got now, but I still managed to get about, I don't know, 20 books signed, something like that. So this is onto the James Bond now. So Live and Let Die and Diamonds Are Forever. I don't think these are in any sort of particular order or anything. They just, I think that's just the way, this is quite a fun way of enjoying them, really. From Russia with Love and Casino Royale. A Goldfinger and Moonraker, which is a Pef. And I also got Dr. No, which is signed by Pef. So I think I'll do the two Pef signed ones back to back. My actual copy of Dr. No, my first print of that, is signed by Pef. He was such a nice chap. And there's Goldfinger. Brilliant, so that's those. So I'll get those sealed up in a minute. Now, next thing we've got are some puffin bits, which I shall dig out. We have a puffin post there. Now, they, I think, are going to have to go into maybe comic bags, possibly magazine bags. Yeah, so I've just got some regular comic bags with a board in. These particular puffin posts, I mean, there's an awful lot of them to collect, and I've only got 3. I've never gone out of my way to collect them. What I'm really waiting for is someone with a really, really nice run, and then I could get a fair load of them off in one hit, really, you know. But I mean, I was never in the puffin club. My children were. When they were growing up, they both joined, but personally, I never actually was part of it, which is a shame, really. My mum certainly bought us books, though, so on a regular basis. Now, this is good. This is like a privately printed publication, the book on the paperback by Desmond Fowler, and it's like a record of a speech that Desmond gave. It's got it's got an introduction by Sir Alan Lane, 1959. Quite scarce, this, I would imagine. Yeah, the paperback. So this is, I'm going to pop this one into my light sleeve. So it's the same as a comic bag in effect, but it's got a highly reflective sleeve and it's archival safe. I'm not going to put any board on it. I don't have any idea what that would sort of sell for, but I do know that it's rare. So yeah, that's very nice indeed. And now we've got a couple of book jackets. So that looks like a light pelican one, and this one came my way fairly recently for a dark blue biography one. Now I'd be absolutely fine with these to be back to back. So in actual fact, if they fit in this comic bag, which I think they will, oh, look at that. They're just a tiny bit too big. Let's see what we got here. Let's pull a magazine bag out. And I'll just pop a stiffener in here, a bit of cardboard. Like that. That's okay. And we'll put that one in there. Now, as far as I know, they did do these sorts of these cloth protections for all the different colours. But it's funny that you only really see the blue around. I have seen some pictures of like a yellow one, and I think a red one, and a crime one, of course. But yeah, all of mine are blue, which is a bit strange. Now, I've got a couple of paper bags. I mean, this is real geekdom here, isn't it? This is, but it's the sort of ephemera that you do need to save. These have both got bookshops on, so I would imagine that what happened is Penguin would supply the bags, and you got a big stamp on, maybe something like that. Although they do look like they're printed rather than like stamped, don't they? Now, initially I pulled out one of these. Now they will fit in that back to back, but they're going to poke out the top, which I don't think is great for them. So I'm actually going to put them in a magazine bag similar to the boards there, and then I'm going to fold it over. I just think against this big piece of thick card, they'll be better protected. Even then, they don't. The card doesn't quite go for the full amount, but I think it's still better than what we were looking at. So slide this one in. We may not be able to do much more because, well, we'll have a look, because some of the stuff I've got I think is just too big, and I am waiting for some tabloid bags from the States. So when they come in, yeah, the real big bags, then we'll be able to do those bits as well. Right, so that's those done. Excellent. Right, a few more bits and pieces. We may just have to go through these and see if they actually fit. I think this one's just going to fit. I'm not going to bother with a backing board on this one. So I think it will go in. Just, yeah, look at that, just going in. I'll fold that over. That was their The World of Penguin Complete Catalog, which I think came out for the 50th anniversary. This one here, I think is just too long. If we pull a mag bag out, Yeah, it's literally too big. So that's going to have to wait till we get the tabloid bags. This is nice. This is a Pan Books promo. There's nothing particularly brilliant in it, sadly, but it's still nice to have. Now, will that fit in? I don't think this is big. This is too big as well. So there's also one that's going to need to go into the tabloid bag. This is a more modern one from 1998. This is when I was working in the book trade, and I would often save Penguin catalogues. This copy of the bookseller is too wide. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get that in. So these are going to be in a follow-up video. And I remember this one. This is when I worked for Dillon's, and they did a thing in like 1995, so for Penguin's 60th anniversary. That great picture of Jimi Hendrix reading a copy of Penguin Science Fiction. Absolutely brilliant. And it had a little thing celebrating 60 years of Penguin inside as an insert. Then and now, here we are. They're really nice. We can actually show you a little bit inside. So I think I do actually have 2 copies of that. And I shall pop them both in that bag because they will fit. Yeah, I used to work for Dillon's. I had no input in that though. Now here's another puffin thing. It's Roald Dahl's Guide to Railway Safety, illustrated by Quentin Blake. Got a little intercity pencil at the bottom there. I think we might be pushing our luck to squeeze this in here. Oh no, it just went in. Look at that. That's fine. Penguin History Catalogue, 1984. Colette's Penguin Bookshop. Look at that, 52 Charing Cross Road. That's where this has come from. That's cool, isn't it? I don't ever remember going into Colette's. Certainly remember doing book shopping on Charing Cross Road for second hand in the 80s and 90s, and that was pretty cool. Book sold in celebration of 50th anniversary of Penguin. Now this would be bagged up as normal. However, I've got a video that I'm filming on Penguin's 50th, which is in the process of being done, and I'm going to need that for that, so I'm not going to bag that up. Right, these are Penguin 60th, Penguin 60s subsheets. Not sure if these are going to fit in. Yeah, they just fit. I don't know if I've got any more of that here. No, I think that's sort of separate. So that's some Penguin 60th. So, but this is similar. This is 2007 Penguin Celebrations, where they released a few contemporary books with the tri-band covers. And that might as well go on the back, I think. Save a bag there, so they can go in that. The Penguin English Library. This is a bit later on, of course. This isn't when they started. Yeah, had some good stuff, didn't they? Yeah, 1983, I see this one's dated. Started in the tail end of the 1960s. So that's nice. I like that dumping on the back there. So that's good. This was another Penguin 60th promotional booklet. Which just slips in, so that's good. We've been fairly lucky. There hasn't been too much I've had to stick back. This is a Penguin 60th catalogue. Now this may be just a touch. Is it going to go in? These catalogues are notorious because they're printed on cheap paper. They have aged over the years. But that is okay. You can see there's a little bit of spotting in that, and I've had this from brand new. But I've got a few of these catalogues in this format. In fact, that's a double, so there's no point keeping extras of these. I'll pop that in my spares box. Yeah, if there's one thing I've learned recently with having so many Penguin books come my way is that I haven't really got room for doubles. Saying that, I've got 2 copies of this one as well now. I actually thought there was variations of this catalogue, but looks like I've got 2 the same. It's difficult to know which one to keep because they're both have got their pros and cons. And also, once again, I want to have one of these out for the for my 50th anniversary video. So I think I'll leave that one out, and I'll put this one in a bag. Yeah, I've got some really special stuff for that particular video. The Antiquarian Book Monthly. This is one on penguins. Well, 2 issues on penguin books, in fact. So I shall pop those in back to back, like so. Penguin News. Well, let's see what we've got left. Got some of these penguin order forms. Now, these definitely do need protection. In fact, I've got a few that are this format. And they all sort of really need to have a backing board on them and to be put into a magazine bag. I think the mag bags we got just about will be, the bags are big enough that we've got, but they do require boards, and I haven't actually got that many boards left. Let's just see what else we've got, because it may be that we draw a line under it there for now. Oh, I definitely want to bag this one up, and then we come back in a future video to do once the tabloid bags have arrived. This is the last copy of Penguin's Progress, and I definitely want to put this one in a bag. Now, the normal comic size bags, all that would actually fit. I think it needs to be in a miler, which is what this is. So, and it's got a stiffener in as well, because this is quite delicate, this one. I was delighted to get it. This was the last copy of Penguin's Progress I needed, bar the pre-war ones. And it's quite a tough find, this one. It is basically the one that everyone's always missing. There we are. So that's got that one protected now. At least as good as I possibly can. That'll keep it flat. That's fine. Right, what else have we got? So, as I said, got lots of other bits and pieces, other catalogues, stuff from other publishers as well, Arrow, which is pretty cool. Got some New English Library. I'm just a bit short of boards, but I think we could probably get those bagged up. I've just got the one board left, so now I have got some other bits of some promo items as well to show before the end of this video. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the New English Library one that way, and I've got this one. Actually, I'll leave that one out. I did have one for Fontana. Here we are. Got this nice Fontana one here from the 70s. I'll put that in on the back, because they're similar sort of size. Right, I'll get all this lot bagged up, and then we'll have a look at a few. We'll go through and have a look at what they all look like. Okay, so let's have a final look through all this stuff that's been bagged up now, and it does look really, really nice, I have to say. I've not bored you with all the taping, because there's not a lot to see. But the stuff does look really, really nice. And as I said, once we've gone back through this, I've got like an album that I've been working on, which has got some vintage bookmarks and other bookshop promo stuff in as well. So I shall dig that out. That's the postcards. Then we got the puffin posts. Yeah, I must try and must try and search out and see if I can get lucky and get a nice big load of those. So hardback. There's the bags. There's 3 paper bags I've got now. There's a nice puffin one I'd like to get, but waiting for one to turn up at the right price. And some of these big catalogues were too big to fold down the ends, so they're just sort of in sleeves, some of these, just so that at least they're protected from the elements. Pulled the camera out a little bit more there so you can get to actually see these. They're some of these are really big, you know. I remember many years filling out subsheets like that. And yeah, these catalogues were just a bit too big to be sealed up, but they'll be absolutely fine as is. At least they're a bit more protected now. And I found out a spare, so if anyone wants the spare of Dirk Bogarde, look out for a 50th anniversary video, Penguin's 50th, coming up quite soon. Then we've got the 2 ABMRs, that beautiful copy of Penguin's Progress, which I'm really pleased to get. Got that at the Penguin Collectors Show. And the last bit was my New English Library and Fontana catalogues. Right, next let's look at my my binder with postcards in. Right, so I've got this Agatha Christie proof jacket that I've had for many years, and it's just been in this miler, and it's not really the greatest way to display it. So what I thought I'd do, I'd treat it to a full page in my album. Now I've got, which we'll see in a minute, I've got like a trading card album, but it's got different sorts of leaves in it. Now I got it at the London Paperback show last year, and it's been absolutely fantastic, exactly what I needed in all honesty. So let's get this sleeve out. So basically it's just like a proof jacket, and there are a couple of, there's like a pin there, so whether it was pinned up or if it was on display in a bookshop, who can tell? But there we are. But it's definitely a proof jacket for Secret Adversary. So I've got that, and I've got some bookmarks here. Now this is a Chapter and Verse bookmark, and Chapter and Verse were a chain of shops in the southwest, and the one in Drake's Circus was where my shop ended up being. We took over the old Chapter and Verse bookshop. Absolutely fantastic. I remember when we would have to read the electric, someone would come around to read our electric meter. We'd open up the cupboard, and on the electric meter was a big sticker from Allen and Unwin. It was saying, look out for the Silmarillions, or the hot book for 1977. I think it was. It was a really nice Tolkien one. Now, you remember earlier on we saw the little booklet for the re-release of the Pan Book of Horror Stories Book 1. They were also accompanied by 3 bookmarks here. Now I wasn't sure, that was the re-release, I wasn't sure if these bookmarks had ever been released, but until, see that one there, I did actually get one. I have actually got one. So that's the original, as you can see. It's a slightly different shape, and this is the new one there. So they've squeezed the artwork down. It's got a completely different back. Someone's unfortunately done some sums on the back, but it just lists their horror ones there. Pretty rare, I would imagine now. And then I've got a couple of Pan inserts, 8 Headford Place, and a book of matches for Penguin's 40th anniversary, 1975. And even the little matches there have got Penguin books on the side. So all of this has to go into the album, which I'm about to show you. So it's this one here, and let's see if we can actually get it all in picture. So are we all in there? I think just about we are. Now there's some stuff in here I'm going to not show you because it's been saved for my Penguin 50th anniversary video, which is coming up soon, but we can certainly have a look at the bookmarks here. And of course it's back to back, so I need to move it along slightly. So these are Heifer ones, different Heifer bookshops, which were Penguin specific, of course. The later heifer one. So generally I only keep my bookmarks if they're of interest. That's like a Picador one. That one's an early one for the News of the World. That one's for the National Health Service. Introducing the National Health Service. Obviously I've got various Penguin promo ones, which you might have seen, and you know, flyers for stuff. Hemingway. Some of it, you know, I've got a few doubles of. Other bits, they're the only ones I've ever seen. Like this one here, this exhibition of Penguin books. I think we did figure out the age of that in the end. It's a series of Penguin education bookmarks. Right, here we are. So, I think what we'll do, we'll get these £2 ones in here. The original, like so. It's going to be a little bit cack-handed to get them in, because these go in from the other side. And I'll put the original in. But I've got stuff like this dotted around all over my collection, and I thought it was high time that I got them put together into this really nice album. As I said, I picked up the album itself from the London Paperback show last year, and been really, really pleased with it. In actual fact, it's going to do the trick for some of my other bits and pieces that I collect as well. Right, let's get this one so these can go on the front. They are lovely, and I'd love to get a few more of these. Well, the originals of these, but they never really turn up. I've got to say, I was lucky to get that other one online. I was just online at the right time and only paid £5 for it. So I do count myself lucky. This is proven hard to get. As I said, they are a bit fiddly, particularly when you're leaning over the camera as well. There we go. But once they're in. And then we got that nice chapter and verse, which only just fits in, doesn't it? But yeah, I remember chapter and verse. They're quite a good bookshop. Or book chain, I should say. You know, as I said, they had four shops, but they're long, long gone now, of course. So that's them. Right, next thing we got is like little leaflets and stuff. So, although I haven't got an Isicon donkey, I definitely like one. I do have the bookcase, but I don't have the donkey. And these are some promo postcards that came out for Penguin's 60th anniversary in 1995, bookshop ones. I think these are for, I forget who it was, for Peter Ackroyd rather, for his Dickens thing. These are some grey and green promo ones, so Penguin Modern Classics. That's the Penguin complete collectors, the complete catalogue of Penguin publications on microfiche, which was published by the Penguin Collectors Society one year. It took a long time for them to get that out. Now, these are quite nice. These are pan header cards, so they're like crowns basically. So these would slip in to the top of books, and promote the book, draw attention to them. So I've got 3 different ones there, and they're really nice. And I think on the same page we ought to have these 2 pan mailer forms. I mean, they're quite common in the early books, at least. So I pulled 2 of them out that I had spare, just sort of on display, so we can have both sides on display like that. And it was a way to keep up to date with the latest pan releases. And then we need to find somewhere for the my proof cover. So I'm going to go through these, but some of this is now going to be censored. Okay, so we're past the stuff I'm not going to show just yet because it's all related to Penguin's 50th. But this is quite nice. This is a letter from Pan Books to who is it to? It's signed by C.A. Paget, who took over editing the Pan Book of Horror Stories and was a Pan editor. I remember now. I got this. Yeah, this was a promo copy of The Lifesavers, and it was inside a book, and I kept it because obviously it's on pan-headed notepaper. This one's a bit more juicy, from 1973, because this one's signed by Herbert Van Thal. Look, Bertie. which was his nickname, Herbert Van Thal, saying, "Thank you for your letter of the 25th of June. I've passed your acceptance on to Pan. No immediate rush for the next Pan book of horror stories. Say the end of this year. Hope you enjoy your trip to the States." I don't know who that was aimed at. NYC Harrison. Not sure, but still very, very nice to have a letter from Mr. Van Thal. And that's it. So I shall pop that in there. I think that's going to be the perfect place for it. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed looking through some more promo bookshop and paperback bits and pieces. I absolutely love this stuff. I just can't get enough of it. And well, I'm really glad to see that I'm finally making a few inroads into getting it stored correctly, so I can actually enjoy it. If you've enjoyed today's video, do please give it that thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage paperback content, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.